Welcome to Threads of Enlightenment. We have another guest today and we are excited. And as usual, we have our guests introduce themselves, tell us all the good stuff, how they created, where they got to today. And then we go back and we find out what was the incident or incidents that happened in their life that caused them to change their mindset to start to create where they're at today. As I have always said, we have breadcrumbs that come through our life to try to get our attention, but because we don't live in a state of awareness, we don't notice them until something happens where we crash and burn. And once we get to that state, then we realize, wait a minute, all those other breadcrumbs started making sense. And we realized that we have been in class for a while. So I welcome our guest today, and I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we'll go to class.
Hi, Ken. Thank you for the welcoming. My name is Rockshana. I am what someone did it on accident, actually, and they called me a social entrepreneur, but a different kind.
Hmm.
And my realm is the performance realm, and it's all the aspect of actually, regardless if you perform. When I say perform, I mean if you're a dancer, an artist of any sort, it's just you being you, you finding your confidence, you digging and diving into all your insecurities, everything that's going on to be the best version of yourself. And I use
Yeah.
that tool that I gained when I was younger and coming out of my shell and becoming who I am today. And I use that through everything I do to help other people find themselves, find their growing tools, and it's amazing. I love it. I love doing it today. I love what I do. Um, I moved from states to model and to act and
Hmm.
to dance and to choreograph and just
Nice.
helping people through the arts.
Excellent, excellent. Well, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm excited that you are a part of the arts. And so, everyone have a journey. It doesn't matter what profession you are. It doesn't matter any location that you are. Once you're here on this planet, you are in school, and those that have usually some kind of awareness that they want to do something different, they will awake, and then they will begin to reach back and wake other friends, family, strangers, anyone else. So here you are, you're a performer. You have not always been a performer. So I want to go back and talk to the your journey as to how you got there, where did the desire come from, all of those things. Pick up wherever you want to pick up as to when did you begin and you decided, okay, I want to be a performer, and then we go from there.
It was always a thing that I did, so to say. You
Hmm.
know, when you have family events and or when you're home, I was a loud kid. I have
Hmm.
four other sisters, and always my dad would be like, aren't you tired, don't you want to be quiet, but not in a sense of like go away, but it was the sense
Uh-huh.
of I was the loud child at home, the one that was singing all
Hmm.
the time, dancing around, put it on different outfits for no reason whatsoever. That was just my personality. And so finally, I believe maybe I was like in the sixth grade, and a friend of mine all of a sudden, not even, we can go even further back. I auditioned for a modeling thing. My mom's like, sure,
Hmm.
let's do it. Clearly, this kid has too much energy. We have to find something to do with it. And that's what streamlined the modeling part. And then because I sang and I went to a private school, we'd always, of course, around this time of the
Yeah.
year, it was time for the holiday show practice and giving out the
Hmm.
solos and all that. And then I got solos, and I was really excited about that because it was like the performance realm. Like I got to perform
Hmm.
and be the center
Yeah.
stage. And it just kept going. It just kept
Hmm.
going. And finally, it was my parents put me into actual training to know what I was doing. And it took up
Yeah.
time, but it was time
Hmm.
that I wanted to do, to the point that when I started dancing, my
Hmm.
younger sister, who is about 2 years younger than me, who had to get tagged along, she was like, all right, fine. I guess this is what we're doing. So I'll go ahead and dance too. So I'm just not sitting
Hmm.
on the sidelines and just hanging out and being dragged everywhere.
Hmm.
And it was when I started dancing that I really understood what was happening. It was
Okay.
me releasing myself and using modeling, dancing, and singing to express myself in ways that at that time, you're 13, you don't really know how to express your emotions.
Hmm.
But it randomly clicked one day in class. It was a hip
Hmm.
hop class that was how I was expressing myself. I cried during a hip hop class. Like, who does that? I don't even know why
Wow.
I was crying.
That is
And
awesome.
from there, that's where it clicks that, oh, this is a passion of mine. This isn't just a hobby. This is something I actually love doing because I love the way it makes me feel versus the, yeah, center stage, but it's also the way it makes me feel deep down. And so I got hooked. I was addicted.
Uh-huh.
Hooked.
So you got hooked, you're addicted, you wanted to, did you ever had any kind of issues or, how should I say, not issues, like fears that you had to deal with? As a young person coming up, you are now heading into this new field professionally being trained? Did you look around and see the girls that have been there longer than you have getting all kinds? Did you start doing those type things to short circuit your growth, or did you? It didn't matter.
Oh, I definitely that definitely happened.
Uh
Um, so I went to, and it happened in both realms. It happened in day to day school, but it also happened in training areas. In school was the one part that it really hit me, where it was
huh.
either I made the choice in the eighth grade to if I was going to do this or if I wasn't going to do it, like that young. The reason why, and I talk about it in one of my talks, is because I went to a predominantly white school. I went to a private school in the area, and it was predominantly white. But then when a lot more black kids started coming into the school, it was like, oh, she's doing a white girl thing. And that stings. Hmm.
That is so funny.
Right. It stings. And so in like recess and before school, that's where I had to face the moment of, okay, like, do I like doing this? Is this what I want
Yeah.
to do? Do I love it? They're kind of making fun of me. And I chose to do it. It was really at that
Yeah.
moment that I was like, nope, I love doing this. I'm gonna keep doing it, whatever. It doesn't matter what anyone says. And then in the training aspect, every year our studio would go to this competition and it also had a convention with it. My favorite one, hands
Hmm.
down. And of course, you're in the room with 60 to 75, even more dancers in your age group.
Yeah.
Some of them even younger than you, but because they have reached that level, they made their way to be into the older age groups. And being in that room every year, the first year was kind of intimidated, I will say that. But then I took that intimidation and was like, no, we're going to push and we're going to do this. And every year
Hmm.
I get nervous going in, even though I'm so excited because it's my favorite competition, it's my favorite convention. But when I got into that room that morning at like 8 o'clock in the morning, you're just so, I would get nervous because
Yeah.
that thing would, in the back of your mind, that self doubt would come up and be like,
Yeah.
should you be here? Are you as good as these other dancers, males, females, kid? Like, it doesn't even matter. But then once I got into actually moving into the warm up, I'm like, oh yeah, I totally
Hmm.
belong here. I don't care.
I love that because a lot of people will allow that thought to cripple them, cause
Hmm.
them to not perform to the best of their ability. And not just in the performance, but also in life. That thought of not this, I am not that. That allows people's opinion of you to take
Hmm.
precedent over your opinion of you. And so you started acting differently based on someone else's input. How did you had to overcome some of that? Because I know in that high performance thing that people were trying to say things to you. How did you not allow yourself to be affected by those type of comments?
It was the fact of I knew what I wanted to do. When
Hmm.
I think once you make a decision about something so young as eighth grade, what are you like,
Yeah.
15, 16? It really triggered, and I made a choice. Like, I knew at that moment I made a choice, and I knew I loved doing it. I honestly
Hmm.
couldn't see myself doing not performing.
Yeah.
And so at that time, I took all the negatives and made them ammo. In that
Hmm.
moment, it was, no, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to keep going. Oh, you think I can't? Oh, no, no, no. Cute, but I will. And there were so many, so many. Even the studio I danced at, some for like relatives and even my classmates. But at that moment, it was the, oh, I'm going to prove you wrong. Like, nah, I'm going to do what I want. Also created the do what I want attitude myself, but that was tamed. And so having that drive and creating that own commitment of, no, this is what I want to do. I'm not,
Yeah.
nothing's going to stop in my way. And then getting my trophies. Like that was another thing. Once I
Hmm.
competed and I danced and, it came to award ceremony, I was never just sitting there with nothing in my hands. I received an award for all my hard work, which translated also a drive of, oh, you want to do this and you have to work this much and then you get a reward, you have that gratification at the end. Um, it it just made it easier, so to say, because I was working towards something. I
Towards
knew what my
something.
end goal. Hmm.
Yeah, I love the fact that you stayed focused, as they say. You stay focused not on just the accomplishments, but you stayed focused on who you were and who you believed you were, and that your belief in yourself was not moved by whatever else was happening around you. You stayed focused,
Hmm.
and that is impressive because tons of times I tell, especially the young folks, that don't allow people's opinion to come into your life, because if you do, it will change you and you will become something that you don't. You look back and go, "How did I get here?" And that is simply because you weren't suffering from a low self esteem, is what I tell people. And you have
Hmm.
to look at yourself as something special, so that you are one of a kind because of who you are. Once you live and die, there's nothing like you again. We know that by, as I tell people, by industries are here because of how unique we are. Retina, our skin, our fingerprints, all of these type of industries are in existence today because of how special and how unique you are. And so to hear you talk about your uniqueness and the fact that you are this confident about yourself, and you're moving along. Now you're performing, you're getting all of these, and this is all happening while you're in school, in your private school. Now, as you move in your life, as you're growing, did you enter into college and had to deal with that aspect? How did you manage that part of your life?
Honestly, college was the easiest part. I
Tell
know
me.
you have some majors that they're like, oh, college was this worse. It was terrible. No, college was the easiest part because it. So the community I was around, by the time I got to college, it was, my friends knew. All right, well, she's not coming out with us. She's gonna go rehearse. She has practice.
Mm,
At that point, my friends knew what my schedule was. It was, let's
yeah.
cram something in real late Sunday night. College, because that community was there, I majored dance in college.
Hmm.
Because that community was there, everyone in my community understood, whether they
Yeah.
were acting majors or they understood the drive to continue to succeed and to move forward. Your end
Hmm.
goal in college is to graduate with your degree, especially as a performer. Your end goal is to graduate with that degree to help you move forward and get a job in your industry, kind of to, oh, well, I graduated with this and this is what I'm currently doing. And it's when I was in college and helping other people that a lot of the idea of being a life coach really molded and meant, like, became to come in fruition, because there's again a community of people that are going through what you're going through,
Hmm.
that just need the pick me up. They need the help of the confidence. Like you share your confidence as you just went to your general classes and everyone's in rehearsal until 1 o'clock in the morning, and we all know we have to get up for class the next like at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock ballet, and then continue. So our schedule is so unconventional compared to other majors that you end up creating this like crew, so to say. of performers. And even everyone around you, they're like, oh, yeah, those are the dancers. They're probably running on no sleep. Those are the performers. They have no sleep, but they're always energized. They're always moving. And you have people that, how do you guys do it? How do you guys do it? We just came from
Yeah.
practice from football and we're dying. We just came from studying for this exam and we're dying. So how do you do it? And we have to just we run. We're go, go, go. But it was fun. I enjoyed the go, go, go. I knew that's what I wanted to do. So it was yeah, it was the easiest part. Let's go back to college.
I think as you, and this is the key to life. I'm listening to your story and I'm going, wow, what an honor and a privilege to find your location at such a young age and then to own it in the sense, own it meaning that you are able to stand up to those outside influence that came up to you and you're able to own it and go, no, this is who I am. This is what I want. Then you got into college and you now began to blossom into this. You begin to look and say, wait a minute, the things that I've gained, I can now use to bring someone along through sitting down and talking with them and encouraging them as to their processes and how to manage their life and how to get the results. Now, here you are enjoying, and you found the secret, I believe, to um, to life very early, where a lot of people don't get a chance because they got caught up into a 9 to 5. They, because
Mhm.
of certain decisions that they made, they became young parents, and the list can go on and on and on and on. And I think when you find what you love to do, then you have won that the process of conquering all the bad thoughts and stuff like that. Because as you were saying, you're performing and you're putting hours, and people are looking at it going, "You guys are not tired because you just love what you do." And not very few people, I should say, don't have that experience of coming into their own, owning it, as I say, and now begin to be in a space that you can now turn and become that. How does it feel? I mean, you are a young person compared to someone like myself, and I'm looking at you going, "Wow, she owned it." Well, when she was young and able to. I can't even believe what your future is going to be like for gaining all of that insight at such a young age compared to my age, and then you're moving forward now. You have now started the coaching bit piece. How does how did you come about that? What was the thought process in putting that whole thing together? What lined up in place to make that happen? Talk to me about some of those things that brought you to this space.
The coaching was honestly a happy accident. I and I say that because I didn't even know that I was doing it. I
Hmm.
had no idea. I so we can go back to high school real quick, and there was always we were always doing some type of community service work and helping other people and mentoring. But I was the kid that was like, oh no, like I want to help, like I want to lead a group and help, and let's bring in the new freshmen and let's do this. And
Hmm.
so through all through high school, that's what I did. Sophomore, I'm not through freshman year, and it was so sophomore year up until senior year I would go the week before school, help out, and then lead in the freshmen, be a mentor. I was always a mentor aspect. College comes around and you start taking a lot of these psych classes and you find the interesting parts about people. And then you have your friends that are breaking down because of the overwhelming of either it's the first time away from home, a lot of stress, finances, and a lot comes into play. And me just helping them break themselves, like not break themselves down, but actually bring themselves back up so that they continue.
Yeah.
And so I've always done that. And people have always sent friends to me. And it's always been more of a trade off. For
Hmm.
instance, in college, it was, no one, after a while, you don't like the dining food. So it was like, hey, I will sit and we can talk and we can hash this out. I'll help you create a plan so that you can get your assignments in on time and do it. How about you grab me dinner, not from the dining
Hmm.
hall. Or how about you fill up my tank? And that was the way of us trading off. At that moment, I thought nothing of it. It was
Yeah.
like, hey, I don't have to eat dining food tonight. Like I will have dinner. Um, I didn't have to find gas money or anything like that. They filled up my tank, and we would spend hours and hours, and I would help them make a plan for like a whole month or two and see them do what we had planned out. At that time, I had no idea there was such thing as a life coach. It wasn't, we didn't talk about it. I didn't have a need for it. And I moved to Colorado, and a friend of mine is like, hey, you can make money doing this after helping her and then helping her son. She goes, you
Hmm.
can make money doing this. And she would call me a life coach. And I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. I don't know. And I was like, really? This is a thing?
Hmm.
Like, yep, it's definitely a thing. You can make money doing this. It's you have a niche, and you have. And I remember
Yeah.
being like, well, I don't have a struggle. Like I feel like anyone who's a life coach would, after looking it up, I was like, you. It seemed like they had a struggle. Single
Hmm.
parents, abusive parents, domestic violence. Like they have a struggle. I don't really have a struggle. Gratefully, I am happily to say, and I came across more coaches that they didn't have a struggle either. They just had
Hmm.
a drive. They had a passion. They knew how to translate. A lot of the things that I was doing already, not writing it down, just happened to be doing it.
Yeah.
They were doing it.
Hmm.
And so I looked into it and the certifications and a lot of the training. Like I love going to workshops and learning more and growing and how to help other people grow. And it wasn't until my former role, and your typical 9 to 5, because that's what you have to do to survive once in a while. And again, I got tools of how to build people up into the leadership aspects. And I was like, I am, you know what? I should really just start doing this for real. And it works.
That is awesome. I love the way how you're saying that I didn't have any problems, and I think the how you look at it, how your perception is, the fact that you didn't have any problems, I think would probably make you a really good life coach because then what it has done is that you have gotten to where you are today because of how you behave in the
Mhm.
field of life, how you implemented all of those principles that a life coach now would utilize to teach someone else that did not institute those life teaching and those principles, such as the confidence of being who you are, that self awareness, the fact that you have learned how to accept and love yourself and who you are. Those are major principles that adults haven't learned those as yet because they have been so plugged in to providing for family, providing for kids, getting out of school, all of those things that we do, but never getting a chance to find out who truly we are. And the fact that you have not gone through, I think, is a positive. I just want to
Mhm.
let you know that I believe that's a positive because you can now look at someone and say, guess what? These principles work. Why? Because I'm here, you know?
Mhm.
And if they work for me, they will work for you. So I commend you that you didn't get to go through all the crazy stuff that most of us did, but you were able to come through and make those decisions that are really important to keep you out of that mess. So I tip my hat off to you on that end, and I think you'll be a perfect coach for anyone that needs help in that situation because you went through flying. You passed the course, girl.
Thank you.
You know that's life. You've done it, and I am so excited that you are able to share. So now that you are in a position and you someone made you aware of it, that you are able to receive compensation for the wisdom in the business now to help sustain you. What is your I tell people we can only dream where that the people like yourself, we are here just for today. Tomorrow, 10 years from now, you're gonna be looking at just like going, wow, she really was trying back then. And so, our intention is to grow and to become. How is it with the people that you are helping? How does that feel to you? And how would describe to us a session that, okay, I just called you up. What does that look like so that the listener can get an idea of what it looks like, and so that you can guide them through some of your principles. Just give them all the good stuff, tease them a little, so that they can make sure they get to you for the real stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I do a 30-minute, which sometimes ends up being a 45-minute free consult. And
Hmm.
so that consult is really the prime of us deciding if we're going to work together.
Hmm.
I really touch on the basis of what's going on, but anyone who calls me, they clearly have something that they want to do, but they don't want to do. They believe in the fact that they're procrastinating, whatever is going on, or they want to level up.
Hmm.
And I want to know why. Like, why do you want to
Hmm.
level up? Because if you don't know why just yet, in my opinion, in my past experiences, then if you don't have a why, then you're not going to do it. Then you're going to be wasting
Yeah.
money. I'll
Hmm.
answer the phone as long as the
Yeah.
check clears. I'll keep answering the phone. But really, you're going to be wasting your money, wasting time going through
Hmm.
this process with me, and you don't even know why you're doing it. If you don't know why
Yes.
you're doing it, then you're not going to do it. Then you don't have a drive. And if you don't have a drive, then we're in a circle of time wasting.
Yes.
So I get down
Need a
to why.
purpose.
I get down to
Hmm.
what obstacles that you've used to hinder yourself. Oh, well, I
Hmm.
can't because I want to know all the because.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of times where my consults, someone has been like, you know what? I don't want to work with you. You're no.
Hmm.
But then they end up calling back and they're like, you know what? I understand what was happening. I want to know the because to see what are we going to go through? Are you
Yeah.
going to follow directions? And so after that talk, then I send out a wrap up email and we circle back to okay, so here's the rate, here's what we're doing, here's the process, here's what I
Hmm.
anticipate may be a time. I never guarantee, and I understand the world like not even the world today, but we want that guarantee of she's gonna fix me, so to say, or she's gonna
Hmm.
help me. It's gonna happen after the end of
Hmm.
these 3 months. I'm gonna be a different person. No, I don't guarantee you being a different person at all. I don't
Hmm.
guarantee that anything's gonna change honestly, because I can't.
Hmm.
But what I do guarantee is that I will walk you through a process and a journey, and you are going to do all the work.
Hmm.
I'm your accountability. I'm there to be by your side. I'm there to help you through. You essentially are going to do a lot of work, and it's hard, and it's
Hmm.
hard for the both of us. Don't think that just because you come to me and we map things out that it's not hard for me as well. It's hard for me in a different sense because I'm helping you through this journey. Your journey and your result and what you need is also my energy, my journey. I'm walking through this journey with you. You're not by yourself, even though I'm not sitting at your house and documenting things with you and going through the process. And I'm not the one picking up your kids and bringing them to baseball practice. However, I'm still in that journey with you. Like at that moment, you
Hmm.
have to call me and say, hey, this isn't working. You call me. You then
Yeah.
have me on a 24-hour, not 24-hour, but you have me on call during
Hmm.
certain hours when I actually do find a time to sleep. Um, and so I'm there with you. You are not alone. It's we always think so a lot of people think that they're alone when they're doing, so to say, a change in their life or they're
Yeah.
finding a way to develop. No, I'm that person so that you don't feel alone. You can give me a call and we can have a session right there and walk through. And accountability is my biggest thing. I will hold you
Yeah.
accountable to whatever we put on paper. If we
Hmm.
put something on paper, then to me it is set in stone. And so that is our process and that's what we're doing. So if you're not serious about actually setting things in stone so that you can grow in any aspect of your life, then don't give me a call.
Hmm.
Don't give me a
See,
call.
I think you're a perfect life coach. You got it all together right there, because we don't do it for you. People don't do it for you. We assist
Mm-mm.
you. We give you. We help you to walk it your path. This is your path. We are here to hold your hands, but this is your gig, and
Mhm.
you ought to take it serious, and you ought to make sure that you are, if you're not serious, man, if you have no purpose as to the why. The purpose is the thing that gives you direction, and it'll wake you up when you're tired, when you're in the dark places, and you got nothing else but that purpose that will whisper to you and say, "This is not where we want to be," and that's your lamp that you walk with. And if you don't have the lamp, how in the world are you going to
Yep.
walk?
How are you going to do it? And it doesn't matter. So yes, I'm a performer. I The stage is my platform, but it doesn't matter what realm
No.
you're in. I
Mm-hmm.
it's your growth, whether
Yeah.
it be you want a promotion, you want a better relationship with your kids. It doesn't matter. The mapping of how everything is set up works for anything. Yes, I put you in an uncomfortable positions and I have you do a dance class, an acting class.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But even then with that, it's
Yeah.
your journey, what you want to do.
Yeah.
I will not push on my things and my passions to you. I want to know what your passions are, and that's how we
Yeah.
walk through
Wow, that is a life coach if I ever met one.
it.
And I do appreciate you coming by and sharing your journey because it was a very important journey. And I hope the listeners were there to listen because here is someone that had recognized early her path. She recognized, as I mentioned early, that she owned it. She owned the fact of who she was as an individual, and she did not let anyone move her from that. She used and utilized all of the tools. I heard her talk about them, and to get her where she is today. And she is in a perfect place to help all of you. As a performer, you have to step out and be confident. And so she may have you dance. That's fine. Get out and be confident about you got to let go of your mind and start allowing your heart to guide you in some situations. We have our minds sometimes that will cause us and go and say, "Oh, I'm going to look horrible. The kids are going to see me. My husband think I'm crazy or whatever." Who cares? Allow your heart to take over, and I guarantee you that once you do that, there's this freshness of power that comes over you from that expression of self indulgent, if you will, or self expression. And so, as you do that, you will have started to become. So, thank you so much for coming by Threads of Enlightenment and sharing your heart and where you are today. And I am going to send everyone to reach you so that you can give them the wisdom that they need to become the best that they possibly can.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. Thank you so much. Everyone who's listening to this podcast, we hope to continually help you to learn how to embrace moments of darkness because it is in the darkness that we learn how to develop and use our abilities to truly see those parts of ourselves often invisible to us in the light. It becomes your responsibility to navigate through all of your trials to find out who you truly are and begin your journey to loving yourself, which is possibly one of the most difficult things you will ever do in your life. To love yourself and to find the real you. But always remember to enjoy the journey. Thank you for coming by. Please subscribe. And if you can support us financially, we deeply appreciate it.